There is a specific kind of grief that has no funeral and no obituary. It visits you on quiet Tuesday evenings or during long drives when the radio goes silent. It is the phantom pain of the life you did not choose. You might find yourself thinking about the city you almost moved to, visualizing the streets you never walked, and the coffee shop where you never became a regular. You might think about the career you abandoned to pursue stability, or the relationship you ended because it wasn't quite right, even though it was full of love. This feeling is not exactly regret, though it tastes similar. Regret implies you made a mistake. This feeling is more complex. It is the realization that to choose one path is to mourn the death of 1,000 others. It is the heavy, dull ache of your own potential. You look at your current life, which might be good and stable and full of blessings, and you feel a strange sense of loss for the person you didn't become. If you have ever felt this, I want you to know that you are not ungrateful. You are not failing at happiness. You are simply grappling with the fundamental tragedy of the human condition, which is that we have infinite imaginations but finite time. Let us look closer at this paralysis. There is a famous image in literature that captures this perfectly. It describes a person sitting in the crotch of a fig tree, starving to death because they cannot choose which fig to eat. One fig is a happy home and children. Another fig is a famous career and travel. Another fig is a brilliant solitude and art. The person wants to eat them all, but choosing one means the others will rot and fall to the ground. So they sit there, unable to decide, while the figs turn black and drop off one by one. This image resonates because it names our deepest fear. We fear that by committing to something, we are losing everything else. We stay in the hallway of life because we are terrified of entering a room and closing the door behind us. We mistakenly believe that freedom means keeping all our options open. But the hallway is a cold place to live. Nothing grows in the hallway. Real life, with all its mess and beauty, only happens inside the rooms. It is helpful to understand that every choice is, by definition, a sacrifice. The word decide literally comes from a Latin root meaning to cut off. When you make a decision, you are cutting off other possibilities. This is violent in a way. It requires you to be brave enough to kill the fantasy of who you could have been in order to breathe life into who you actually are. We often try to avoid this pain by refusing to fully commit to our own lives. We keep one foot out the door, just in case. But living with one foot out the door means you never truly arrive. You are always a tourist in your own existence. We live in a culture that worships optimization. We are told that we can have it all, do it all, and be it all. We are bombarded with the highlight reels of a billion other lives, and it is easy to feel that everyone else managed to pick all the figs while you only got one. But this is an illusion. Everyone is mourning a ghost life. Everyone is wondering, what if? The person with the high-powered career wonders about the quiet life in the country. The person with the big family wonders about the solitude of the artist. The suffering comes not from the choice you made, but from the refusal to accept the constraints of reality. We suffer because we want to be everything. But here's the shift that changes everything. Limitation is not a punishment. It is the very thing that gives your life shape and meaning. Think of a river. Without the constraints of the riverbanks, the water would just be a swamp. It would spread out thin and stagnant. The banks are what allow the river to flow. They give it direction, power, and depth. By accepting the limits of your life, you allow yourself to go deep. You cannot be an expert in everything, which is why your specific knowledge is valuable. You cannot love everyone, which is why your love for a few specific people is precious. The fact that you cannot live every life is what makes this life, this singular, unrepeatable life, so incredibly rare. You are not missing out on the world. You are inhabiting your specific corner of it. So how do we practice this acceptance without feeling bitter? We can start by acknowledging the ghost ships. In a beautiful essay, a writer once described the unlived lives as ships that we did not board. We can stand on the shore and wave to them. We can say, "That was a beautiful ship. That would have been a beautiful voyage." We do not have to pretend the other life would have been bad to make ourselves feel better. It might have been wonderful, but it was not yours. You can try a small ritual of grief for these ghost ships. Write down the things you didn't do, the degree you didn't get, the trip you didn't take. Acknowledge them, honor them, and then, gently, let them sail away. They do not belong to you. They belong to the realm of fantasy. What belongs to you is the texture of the chair you are sitting in right now. What belongs to you is the coffee in your cup. What belongs to you are the specific problems and specific joys of the reality you have built. There is a profound peace that comes when you stop comparing your actual life to a theoretical one. A theoretical life is perfect because it has no problems. In your fantasy, the career change never leads to stress, and the move to the new city never results in loneliness. But that is because it is not real. Your actual life has problems because it is real. It has friction and weight. It is also vital to remember that you are not finished. Just because you chose one path 10 years ago does not mean the story is over. We often think of life as a single linear track, but it is more like a garden. You planted certain things and they grew. Some things didn't grow, but the seasons change. You can plant new seeds. You can pull up weeds. You are not trapped in the choice you made. You are just tending the garden that resulted from it. As you move through your days, try to catch yourself when you drift into the what if. Gently bring your attention back to the what is. Look at your hands. Look at the people who know your name. Look at the work you have done, even the small things. This is yours. It is smaller than the universe of your imagination, yes, but it has the distinct advantage of being true. Finally, consider this. To be human is to be limited. We are not gods. We are not infinite. We are small, fragile creatures who get to be here for a blink of an eye. The sorrow you feel for the unlived lives is actually a tribute to your capacity for wonder. It is a sign that you see the beauty in the world, so much beauty that you want to devour it all. You can let that longing be a background note of sweetness rather than a source of pain. How would it feel to stop looking at the horizon for the ships that never came, and instead, look down at the boat you were actually in? What if you decided that this boat, with all its chips and scratches, is exactly where you were supposed to be? You were not missing your life. You were living it right now.